All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Al from Love to Acres, Ben from Holler Homestead, and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. And this is episode 75, and we're just hanging out today in the shop. After we do all of our homestead stuff, we just call each other and say hi. And we figured we'd record it and let you all listen. Yeah. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Actually, we're recording this before Thanksgiving, but it's coming out after Thanksgiving. So, you guys do any, have you guys developed any Thanksgiving traditions?
Not really. No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think us either.
I will say probably the one tradition, I don't know. You guys know what it's like. You get married and, you're still going over to families' houses and that kind of stuff. And we got tired. I apologize for that alarm. That's my driveway alarm. Kind of the tradition that we started was it got to the point we realized we were like going to 3 different Thanksgivings, and then we would get home and we never had any leftovers. And so it was like, well, we got to do our own Thanksgiving. And so we'd do our own Thanksgiving either Saturday or Sunday. By the time, I think we went to my parents on Thanksgiving Day, then we'd go to Meg's grandma's house, and then like the next day we'd go to her dad's house, and it was just like we would be fried by the end of the weekend and still start cooking our own food. And finally I got to the point it's like, okay, we'll do this side of the family this year, this side next year, that kind of thing. And we just kind of picked a day, and that was what we ended up doing. And I don't know, now looking back, I mean, it's been 18 years that we've been together, and I would say starting to do our own Thanksgiving has been the coolest thing because, you get to pick the food that you want to cook. And so, it's kind of cliche. Some of the dishes we pick, the green bean casserole, mashed potatoes and gravy and turkey, like that's how it's got to be. And so that's what we do every time. And so I guess our Thanksgiving dinner is our tradition. We get to cook what we want. Meg was going over the menu of, what we're cooking this week. And it's like, well, pretty much the same as last year. So I don't know. I guess that's our tradition.
What about you, Al? Nothing really?
No,
just staying home?
We go to Gina's parents for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
This year we raised the turkey and they'll cook it.
Oh, awesome.
That's cool.
What about you, Jason?
Yeah, it's just going to be us 3. And, since living in North Carolina, it's been pretty much, once in a while some years we'll go over like a friend's. But yeah, for the most part, it's just us and just cooking our food. So what'd you guys have for dinner tonight?
That's easy. Spaghetti.
Chicken gravy over mashed potatoes.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was good.
Yeah, we had smoked pork ribs. Penelope actually made all the dinner tonight, and it was awesome. So she smoked the ribs because we just butchered one of our coonies this weekend. So we kept the ribs and smoked them, and it turned out really good. So I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving to eat more. The season of gaining weight is what it is.
What do you guys do to your turkeys? Do anything do you have like a special way you like to cook them? Like smoke them, brine them?
We brined ours, I think, last year, which turned out really good.
Yep.
But I think we might just smoke them. Yeah. That's
what we do. We brine them and then smoke them. Brining's the way to go.
Yeah, we brine them. Same here. And then we usually brine most of our whole chickens that we cook too. It makes a big difference.
I thought about getting one of those, which I think it might be too late. One of those rotisserie open fire things that you stick, like I say, a chicken in there and it automatically turns.
Yep.
But setting the camera up on it's like, one of them Yule logs, you turn on the TV and the fireplace is going like 24/7 on TV. But instead of that, it's just like the chicken like rotating for like all day long, and that's all the video is.
You just live stream a chicken rotisserie.
Yeah. Yeah. See how that goes.
That's actually like a bucket list thing, is building a rotisserie that I can rotisserie a whole pig on. And then
Yeah.
like that's bucket list. I've always wanted to rotisserie a whole pig. It's coming. I can feel it. Like it's coming.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you got plenty of pigs.
I'm starting to run out. Something about this time of year.
So who wants to go first?
I could actually segue into what I'm going to talk about my week.
Yeah, you do it, Ben. Go ahead.
All right. So, on that note of running out of pigs, so it was kind of a busy week last week. We decided we do a thing called Friendsgiving, and we call over, our friends, Jason being one of them. And this year, the boys were really wanting to do a theme. It's like, all right, well, what do you want to do? Well, my boys are really, I don't know, it has not made it into any videos or anything on the internet. My boys, I've taught them how to make knives and stuff like that. And of course, the logical next step is let's make swords. And so these boys are forging swords and making swords, and like they're all getting, like all four of them are getting to the point where they're more skilled as a blacksmith than I am. Like they're going to surpass me. So yeah, they're very into Renaissance anything, anything medieval, weapons, armor, that kind of stuff. And so naturally they're like, let's have a medieval feast. And the subject of could we have a whole pig and like put it on a big banquet table right in the middle of everybody. It's like we might be able to make that happen. So we decorated up the barn and had all of our friends over and had a medieval feast. I mean, we didn't put the pig in the middle of the table because you got to feed everybody, and so. But anyway,
it was great.
Yeah. So, all right, the start of my week. I planned on putting the pig on ice and putting it in a brine on Monday, and then it would be in that brine. What was that, Monday or Tuesday that I did that? It was Monday. So I already know I'm going to go, pop this pig and process it. That's one of the smaller yearling ones. This pig ended up being 94 pounds, so good sized pig. Still small, but I mean, that's a decent sized pig. Well, on my way out the door, there happens to be a deer eating my squirrel corn at the end of the driveway. So naturally, I had to invite this deer to freezer camp because I don't tolerate deer eating my squirrel corn. So, got me a deer Monday morning. Take it down there. I'm skinning this deer, and like I'm trying to get it done, get it in a cooler. Meg had taken the boys to work, so I had her pick me up some ice because another side quest. I couldn't borrow Jason's cool trailer because Jason needed it this week. So it was like, okay, like how can I do this? I've got some great big giant coolers, so I'll figure it out. So Meg picks me up some ice. About the time she got home, I had went and done the pig, got the pig on ice. So like everything's cool. It's like, all right, got a deer and a pig on ice, like doing good. That's Monday. Tuesday, I go about my normal day. I'm gonna go do chores. I go grab all my feed buckets, throw them on the golf cart, and go to take off, and there's a buck standing there eating my squirrel corn. I couldn't believe it. So I calmly
must be some good stuff.
It must be some good stuff. So I went and got my rifle and got the buck. So once again, the next morning I'm down there doing another deer, which is cool. Like it's kind of weird the way things work out. I've been we need to find someone who has a beef we can buy because we are like out of beef. We're out of red meat. And lo and behold, red meat just wanders up my driveway and just helps itself into my freezer. So super excited about that. Then Wednesday comes. Mind you, it's been fairly dry here. We haven't had a whole lot of rain. Wednesday, I get up at 3 in the morning, and it's pouring rain. Like, it is pouring rain. It's like, oh, great. So Wednesday was the day we had our Friendsgiving, and I needed to cook this pig. Like, I gave myself a lot of time. I wanted to get it on by 3:30 at the latest, so I have plenty of time to make it cook and get it perfect. So Tuesday, I think it was like Tuesday afternoon, me and the boys went and grabbed a whole bunch of cinder blocks that we have, built I'm just going to call it a Southern cooker, because everybody down here has one of these. I think everybody we know has built one by now. It's just a big square. You put some metal in it, something to set the pig on, leave some holes open for air, way to get coals in, and then you just, figure out a lid. You can use metal roofing if that's all you've got. They're pretty simple, pretty easy to build. So we built one, and I wanted to have a bed of coals ready in the morning. So all I have to do is get up, grab the pig out of the cooler, pop it on the grill, and then walk away. So we built a massive, massive fire in this thing. Like, it was so hot that, the grill was glowing. And it worked. I got up at 3:30 in the morning. I actually slept in a little bit. I did not hear my alarm. And Meg,
did you brine that pig?
Yeah, I brined that pig. That pig, we added the brine Monday afternoon, and it was all day Tuesday. So, 36 hours this pig was in a brine. Okay, so Tuesday we build a big fire, go to bed, get up early in the morning, come out there. It's raining, but it's like, whatever. Like, the grill was fine. The lid covered everything. So I opened it up. I added some wood and some charcoal on the sides, like away from where the pig was going to be. And like, there's no coals directly under the pig, right? So I take this pig, put it on the grill, and cover it all up. It's like, all right, everything looks good. So I go inside because it's raining. And I think I checked it every 30 minutes. And so I checked it like twice, came down there, everything was cool. It's, starting to sizzle a little bit. It's kind of raining, and it kind of starts raining harder, and it's getting up on towards like 5 o'clock, 5:30, something like that. I think it had only been on like an hour and a half. Well, I'm up here, I'm drinking coffee, doing my thing, happen to look down there, and I don't see smoke. The thing about a cooker like that is you want to see some smoke coming out. There's no smoke. There is zero smoke. So it was like, well, that's not good. So I don my raincoat. I go down there, and there is flames licking out the roof of this cooker. And it was corrugated metal is what I used. It was just some roofing. I see like tongues of flame licking out every arch in the corrugated metal. It looked kind of cool, but yeah, there was a lot of choice words uttered at that moment when I got down there and see that. And as I get closer, I realize how bad it is. The corrugated metal in the middle is glowing. That's not something you want to see when you're cooking a pig and you've got almost 40 people coming to your house that afternoon. So I had some pliers out there. I kind of scoot the metal back just so I can peek in there, and it is an inferno. Like, it is a fireball in there. So I grab a piece of metal, whatever I had lying around, and I scraped all of the coals and bits of wood, everything that was on fire. I scraped out the little openings that are used for feeding it. All of the fire is now outside. I peek in the hole because there is still flame shooting out the top, and the ground underneath this pig is literally on fire. And so what happened was, this was a guinea hog, and this was a fat guinea hog. Lot of fat. And basically it started melting and started a grease fire that was this was a 5-alarm fire. I looked down there, and guys, like, you want to know the worst feeling in the world is when you look at dinner and realize you messed up. I should have sat down
A
there.
whole hog.
Yeah, the whole hog. So at that point, the fire was starting to kind of calm down a little bit, enough to where I could like flip the metal off so I could really see in there. And it's just like, it's consumed. There is no skin left on this hog. I mean, it is just a piece of charcoal. I'm just like, I didn't know what to do for a second. Well, there's a bucket that I had hauled something down there in, and it had about an inch of rain in it. And I was like, all right, you're not supposed to dump water on a grease fire, but it's all I got. So I just splashed it on the pig. It put the fire out, and I'm just standing there getting soaked by the rain, just staring at this going, what the heck do I do? So the only thing I can do, I got more pigs out there, and I got people coming, like, we're going to do this. So
What time was that at?
this was like 5:30. So I come up to the house. Meg.
In the morning.
In the morning. Like, it's dark out. Like,
Yeah.
it's still very dark out. I come up to the house, and I guess Meg said that it sounded like I shut the door differently. She's like, I could tell by the way you walked in the door and shut the door. I knew there was something wrong. So I walk in there, and I'm grabbing the rifle, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, pig's ruined. I'm going to do another one. She's like, okay. So I go out there, pop another one, take it over there, get it all cleaned up. I got it back on the grill by 7:30. So I cooked from 7:30 until I think we ate by 4 o'clock. So I pulled that thing off at 3:30, and like I let it rest until it was cool enough to touch, and then the whole thing pulled. Like it was beautiful. So the other hog, this is the part that I don't think anybody got to see. The burned one, I was ready to take this thing and go bury it in the compost pile. Like there wasn't much left. It was mostly charcoal. Like the teeth were charcoal. Like that's how charcoalized this thing was. It was like, it's ruined. Well, Meg, she fed me some breakfast, and she's like, hey, like, let's see if there's anything salvageable. Like, it's a whole hog. No way it burned everything. So I brought it up here, and I sat, and I'm just, staring at it while I'm eating breakfast and just kind of cussing myself. And I noticed, like, when I set it down, it kind of moved. It was like, okay, like, if it's still moving, it's not all, like, rigid and burnt. Like, there's probably some meat in there. So I sat in here at the kitchen table with a knife, and I carved off all of the black burned bits. And I would say I probably was able to salvage like 30% of it. Cutting off all the black stuff and getting down to where it's like meat again. There was a decent amount. I was able to save some meat off the hams, the loins, and a little bit off the shoulders. But, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot. I threw away a lot of charcoal. Actually, the chickens got a lot of charcoal in their run. But, so, what we did with that, because it wasn't cooked all the way through, we just threw that in the roaster oven, added some water, and just let it sit kind of the rest of the day. And it's actually like edible. It actually tastes pretty good. You can definitely tell that meat was brined. That's probably what saved what meat was left. I would say we got 2-gallon bags out of that stuff. Once it was done cooking, I pulled it that night.
That's good.
I was happy. Like 2-gallon bags, that's a lot. Actually, Meg canned it today. Like it was tasty. So
yeah, that's a good canned. Yeah.
The other pig though, the second pig, that one turned out great. Like it was awesome. It went according to the plan. Turned out awesome. Everybody showed up, and I mean, man, I was a nervous wreck by the end of that day.
Yeah, everything was there. We had all the full spread.
It was cool,
and it was good.
So, I actually gotta say a huge shout out to my son Tyler. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of prep work going on, and I'm like bouncing back and forth here and there, and all I can think is I'm gonna do it again if I don't watch that fire. And so I told Tyler, I was like, hey, can you watch that fire for me? And he was like, sure. I was like, if you see flames licking up on that pig, like pull some coals out. So he sat down there and babysat all day. I was in and out. I actually ran to Walmart to pick up some thermometers because I needed some of those thermometers that have the long probes on them. And so I stuck a probe through there was a hole in the roof of that thing, like an old screw hole. So I had a probe measuring the inside temperature next to the pig, and then I stuck one in the pig so I could monitor, its cooking temperature. And once those thermometers were in there, it was like a game changer. Because then, hey, the inside of this thing's getting up to about 400 degrees. Let's, either put the block in the hole to kind of damp it down or pull some coals out, that kind of stuff. It really took a lot of the guesswork out. So, yeah, if you're going to try to cook a whole pig, thermometers are your friend. And don't walk away if you're using charcoal and wood. So, yeah, dinner was awesome. We all ate ourselves pretty silly. I know I did. I was stuffed by the end of the night. And the amount of relief I had once that pig was off the fire and like in a tray up there in the barn where we could eat it, it was just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I can breathe. Like, I'm so relieved. So, yeah, that was the bulk of like the first half of my week. And then Friday, I processed Monday's deer. We did something. So when I shot this deer, it was a smaller doe. Not like a huge doe. And as soon as I, bring it down to the barn, the boys are already saying, we're making jerky out of that whole thing. And they're like pretty adamant. They're like, Dad, we're making jerky out of that whole thing. Like, okay, if you guys want jerky, you guys are going to help cut jerky. So Friday, we all sat up here in the kitchen and we made jerky. It ended up being 4-gallon bags of jerky that we prepped up. I actually got it in the dehydrator today, so it marinated from Friday until today. Today's Monday. Man, when we first put it on the dehydrator, the smell that filled the kitchen, we're doing like I don't know, all the boys like spicy jerky. So it's kind of like a sweet, spicy jerky, kind of teriyaki, I guess, but spicy. Man, it smells good. I used fresh garlic, like straight up crushed, our garlic through the garlic press, added that to it. I mean, it smells amazing. I'm actually hoping some of that jerky in the dehydrator is getting close. I really want to have a sample, but I'll probably have to wait till tomorrow. And then let's see. This weekend we did something that we did last year. We had some fun. There's a Renaissance fair about an hour and a half from here, just north of Charlotte. We drove over there with Jason, Lorraine, all the boys. Everybody got all dressed up, me included. I had a sad costume, but I had a costume. Everybody got dressed up.
Peasant.
Yeah, I was a peasant. I'm just the bus driver. All the boys had their swords and their cloaks and everything. They're all done up, and we went and did the Renaissance fair. It was fun. It's always fun getting out and doing something completely different than our normal daily life. It's different. It's realizing we don't really interact with the general public that often. Come to find out, we're kind of isolated doing what we're doing here, on the homestead. And I guess it was just kind of different, looking around, realizing it's like, wow, we live a pretty isolated life, I guess. I don't know. It was just interesting.
Good for people watching.
Yeah, good for people watching.
Just put it that way.
Yeah. So yeah, more or less, that was my week in a nutshell. Kind of cool. I will say, cooking an entire pig, I've wanted to do since I first started smoking meat. And I have been smoking meat. You know how they say that, I think it's actually later, they say when you get into your 30s, you either get obsessed with World War II or smoking meat. Well, I got obsessed with smoking meat when I was about like 23. That was when I really got twisted off in it. I made my own smoker and started smoking whatever I could get my hands on. And since then, I got to where I could cook a brisket a Texan would be super proud of. I mean, it was just I got to where I could smoke everything. Give me a piece of meat and give me a couple hours and I will turn out an awesome piece of meat. And yeah, I've wanted to cook an entire pig and like have a shindig of some kind, and being able to do that and like it's one of my pigs, like that's even cooler. So checked off something on the bucket list this week. It was cool.
And you have your own smoker now.
Yeah, I'm probably actually going to cook one of these turkeys. I've got two turkeys, one from Jason, one from our friend Brian, and they're both these massive turkeys. Like they're gargantuan. They wouldn't fit in the
haulers
smoker.
a big one, and give the haulers a big one.
We like the leftovers. Our gauge of if we cooked enough food on Thanksgiving is if the leftovers are still around by Sunday. Generally, we polish off all of the leftovers by Saturday. So, yep. Probably going to cook our turkey dinner in that pig smoker.
Yeah, that'll be good.
The question is, will you do another pig next year?
We're growing out all these guinea hogs, just kind of doing the whole let's raise our own meat thing. And this year we discovered suckling pig. And until you've eaten a suckling pig, like everybody says the same thing. Oh yeah, it's really good. Until I had tasted it, oh my gosh, like leading up to eating that first suckling pig, it was like, man, we got too many pigs. I got to cut down on how many pigs we got. I got to sell some. Like, we have too many pigs. And now I'm looking at them going, oh, I'm almost out of pigs. So it's
just eat them.
Yeah, just eat them. Like, it's kind of cool if you think about it because no refrigeration required. We got into learning how to make cured meats and stuff like that. And there is some refrigeration required unless the weather cooperates. And around here, it's a shot in the dark if you're going to have consistent cold weather for a month, long enough to cure a prosciutto. So refrigeration's kind of a must. But if you got them out there on the hoof, they're super fresh. So why not just, when you need one, go get one? It's the way it used to be. Like our forefathers.
Can the meat?
Yeah, you can.
Can the meat, or throw it in a bag and freeze the meat already cooked. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree.
So, there you go. That was my busy week. I thought about writing a list to try to remember, and it's like, oh no, I will remember this week. This was a crazy week, like just busy. And in the meantime, like the deer I harvest, I feel the same way about deer as I do my animals. We try to use as much of the animal as possible. So I've got 2 skins out there stretched out on frames. One of them I'm ready to tan it. The smaller one that I got on Monday, that skin's mostly dry, so I'm getting ready to tan that one. The buck skin, which was a decent skin, I'm still waiting for it to dry. But, I'm going to tan these hides myself, and that's a whole nother skill set and a bunch of work in itself. So, yeah, it's been a lot of stuff behind the scenes, scraping these hides, fleshing them to get them ready to put on a frame. That takes a couple hours. So, yeah, it's been a busy week.
Yeah. Man, you should just throw the camera on and just of you just flesh and hide, and that's it.
That's it.
Just to do it. Not even time lapse. It's just real time.
Real time.
like the sounds and everything.
Man, like
ASMR.
It's soothing. I was able to get the first hide fleshed. I think that was Monday. I think I just finished fleshing it and got it framed right before we did the podcast last week. But the one I got Tuesday, the buck, I didn't have time to handle that hide. So I just salted it, rolled it up, put it in a bag, stuck it in the fridge. And then Wednesday, obviously I can't get it because I'm terrified I'm going to ruin dinner a second time. So I think it was Thursday, was when I, was able to get to that hide and I pulled it out. Salting it's the way to go. I've never salted a hide that I was getting ready to scrape. It seems like it made all of the tissue and the flesh come off the hide a lot easier. Like it dries it out a little bit. This is a whole skill set. I mean, this is taxidermy. Come to find out, it's a old world skill. Just one more of those old world skills. Sticking that feather in my cap. I will say, starting on a cowhide was maybe not the best idea. I got it done, and I'm really happy with my cowhide rug in the living room. But man, buckskin is so much easier to work than a cowhide. They're so thin. Like if you aren't paying attention, you'll just poke holes in them super easy. So yeah, if you're wanting to start small, maybe like get a sheep or a deer or something, or maybe a rabbit.
A rabbit, probably.
Rabbit. Or a beaver.
A beaver.
So what about you guys? Actually, there's some stuff I wanted to ask Al about. I wanted to get the real scoop about why you got rid of the Bobcat equipment.
Oh. So we have not had luck with our dealer in our area. We had an issue with the Toolcat this year. I called them up. I'm like, hey, will you guys come out and look at it? I'm not getting any power to my ECU. They're like, nope, we don't. Only thing we'll do on the road is we'll do oil changes. Anything else other than that, we got to take it to the shop. I said, okay, well, when can you get it in? Oh, well, we're really busy right now. Call me back in like a week. So I called them back in like a week. And they're like, okay, we'll schedule it. I think they scheduled it for that week, and they just never came. I kept calling them. They never came. And then finally, 2 weeks later, I had a driver show up from the dealer, and I was talking to him. Younger kid, really cool. He's like, yeah, I'm from the store near Burlington, Vermont. He's like, I was over making a delivery to the other place, and they were like, hey, our delivery guy doesn't want to go pick up the Toolcat. Will you go get it? And then it took them like a month to work on the thing. Every time I called them, they're like, oh, yeah, because since it took us so long to get there, because our trucks kept breaking, we'll make sure you're first on the schedule and get you in right away. And then it just kept like, every time I call, it was like another story. And so I don't know, I just kind of got sick of dealing with Bobcat. And so the fuel filters, or most of the filters, but especially the fuel filter, you have to get from Bobcat. So the fuel filter is $100 fuel filter. Where on any other piece of equipment, it's like a $20 fuel filter. When I bought the Bobcat, I bought a Bobcat snowblower for it from another local place that was used. And I'm like, it's Bobcat, I'll put it on. Well, I went to put it on. I went to put the plug end in. The plug end was different. I'm like, well, that's weird. So I called the guy, and he was like, oh yeah, they had that Bobcat snowblower on a different piece of equipment. With Bobcat, if there's any electrical stuff on their attachments, it has to be Bobcat only, because Bobcat puts a computer on their implements that have electronics, but nobody else does. So it's like a whole nother ball game. So the guy was nice that I bought it from. He paid for the computer because the computer was off of it. But it was just like one of those things. It's like, oh, so if I want to get any attachment to go on the front of it, you have to get Bobcat only. So instead of say buying like a $2,000 attachment, now it's a $10,000 attachment.
Jeez.
So then like the excavator is just getting a little bit older. I was like, haven't had any issues with it. I broke a track, not the end of the world. I called the Bobcat dealer for that. I'm like, hey, can I get a track? Yep, you can get it. It'll be 2 weeks. I go on bobcat.com. I had it in like 4 or 5 days. Just like, I'm just sick of dealing with stuff that it's, I don't know, it wasn't easy to get stuff for, and it was more expensive. So I'm like, before everything starts breaking on me, we're going to see if we can trade it in. So we get all of our stuff from SR1 in Loudon, New Hampshire. So I'm like, hey, if I trade in my 2 pieces of equipment, what will you do on a new excavator? So I was able to trade out the 2 pieces of equipment for a brand new excavator, and they gave even trade. If the new excavator is the next size up. Brand new. It's a year old, but it's brand new. It had like 8 hours on it. They just had it sitting around. And it was the next, so like the Bobcat's a 9,000-pound excavator. The new one is like a 12,500-pound excavator.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, I want to have a piece of equipment that I can call the guys up. They'll come work on it. And that was one of the things I'm like, so you guys have a road crew. I know you do. Like if I have an electrical issue, will you come look at it? They're like, yep, we do all road work. We do all mechanical work on the road.
What brand you
And
say?
then, so it's XCMG. You've probably never heard of them, but they're the world's third largest equipment manufacturer. So they're not like a ton in the US yet. They're just starting to get over here. But so it's like it goes Cat, Komatsu, and then XCMG in production for, I guess is how you put it. So
Nice.
it's got a Kubota engine, and then it's got, it kind of looks like a Caterpillar on the outside. It's like the same color. The computer's kind of like a cat. One of the things I did like is it has a 2-year, 2,000-hour warranty on the motor. And that's kind of like the standard warranty for most heavy equipment for like everything. Well, then this has a 3-year, 3,000-hour warranty on all the other components. And then it's
Nice.
got a 5-year, 5,000 warranty on like the chassis and all the big components on it. And then on the same hand, the XCMG will pay the dealer to travel up to 300 miles round trip to come work on it under warranty. So you don't got to worry about bringing it anywhere.
That's cool, man.
Were you able to get the features you want? Like, did you get a thumb on it? That kind of stuff.
Yep.
Is it high flow?
So it's got a high flow on the excavator, so you can shut it on and off for the high flow. It's got a thumb. One of the big things I like is a 4-way angle blade. So instead of just going up and down, it'll go side to side. The Bobcat had that. It's got that. The only thing I had to buy is I bought a angled ditching bucket. So it's a 4-foot wide bucket that'll tilt this way. So like if I'm doing ditches or just trying to like do like a final grade, I can use the excavator to do a nice grading job.
That's a cool feature. Seeing,
Yeah.
I think it was Hometown Acres. I think he's got one that does that. It's like, man, that's a cool feature for a Mini X.
Yeah. You can do a lot of stuff with it. And then now I'm kind of eyeballing like the big like flail mowers, not flail mowers, but like the big grinder mowers that go on the front of them. It's like a big wood chipper almost. So I'm like, that'd be kind of nice to have. We could grind up some tree stumps and some bigger stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to just grind up whole trees because I want the wood chips, but I can take out stumps and stuff like that.
Yeah. You could put an auger in front of that thing, couldn't you?
You can put an auger on it. You can do a jackhammer. They make
Break
like
up
a
them
plate.
rocks.
Yep, they make plate compactors. They make brush mowers for them. They make flail mowers for them nowadays. I'm trying to think. They make so many different attachments. They make pallet forks you can put on them.
Really?
How the heck? That just sounds
Never
sketchy.
seen that.
It's like turning your excavator into a telehandler.
Yep. I'm just amazed with the different stuff you can get for it. But I'm like, yeah.
Nice.
Now we got to start clearing some pasture. I'm hoping for a mild winter so we can get in there and clear pasture. So far, it's been mild. Like, I'll look fine with this cold, but if we have like no to little snow, then we can get into the woods and we can stop making more pasture. That's the goal.
I know they make forestry mulchers for Mini X's because my neighbor just got one for his, and it's kind of terrifying. Like, it's terrifying how far it will throw chunks of wood at you. Like, don't be anywhere near that thing. But yeah, like they have everything for them. They're freaking awesome.
What's he have for a Mini X? And like, do you know what he got for a mulcher?
I want to say it's a Caterpillar. I haven't been up close to it. I just see him driving it around.
Okay.
And I have not seen the mulcher up close, but I was talking to him, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And he was kind of bragging on it. And he's like, I got a forestry mulcher for my Mini X. He's like, it turns trees into dust. So I don't know what size or what brand it was, but I'm sure I could find out.
Right. I went and looked at a brush mower one of my other neighbors had, and I called him up. He was out using it a couple of days ago, so I went and checked that out. He got one. He was like, yeah, he's like, I went to the dealer, they wanted 10 grand for it. He goes, I went on eBay, I found this one made in the USA for like $2,900. He's like, I've had it for 5 years and it works fine. He's like, I told the dealer I can buy 3 of these for the price you want for one of yours. He's like, even if I break this one a few times, it don't matter. So then we got the cattle chute building finally finished. We put the cattle chute in it. It just barely, I don't want to say it kind of like barely fit. Like there's plenty of room getting it in, or there's plenty of room in the building for it. But the way I got to come in with the tractor, like the land goes down and then up, and I'm trying to work with like level ground, but nothing else is level. So as I'm getting it in, it's kind of like going like this and like dipping down. And so I'm like, oh, so it took a little jigging and jagging, but we got it in there. Hopefully it can stay for a while and we don't got to move it out. So then we got new egg layers this past spring. I think it was May. They started laying eggs, let's say about a month ago, and now they're really starting to pick up. I'm going outside when I'm doing chores at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they've already laid like 7 or 8 eggs that early in the morning. Have you guys ever had chickens lay eggs that early?
No. The earliest I've had is like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, probably like in the ours. I think probably in the afternoon.
Ours were always been in the afternoon. These ones, I'm like sitting on the couch. I was drinking my coffee. It's probably like 6 in the morning. I'm like, we're getting ready to go out to do chores. And I'm like, what is going on? My hair clucking. I'm like, is like the coyotes or something out getting the chickens? I look out there. There's nothing going on. Then I go and do chores, and there's eggs already out there. I'm like, well, that's what they were doing. They were clucking about laying eggs. But I'm like, I've never had them that early. Then we'll go back out in the afternoon, and we'll have like another, 5, 6, or 7 laid again. So
how many egg layers you got now?
we got 20.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I think we have about 30 now.
I should say we got 20 from the new batch. The old batch, I don't know how many we got out there. We just we let them free range, and they go in and out of the coop, and they have like range of the homestead. I'm gonna say we probably got like 20 over there, but on a good day this summer, we were getting like 12 eggs from them.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably going on the 3rd year.
I'm glad to hear your scheming for eggs over the winter worked, because ours failed miserably. We got chickens this spring, and like the year before we got chickens in spring, they didn't start laying until like October, November, and we had eggs all through the winter, and it was awesome. We did it again this year, but we got different breeds. We got like, Buff Orpingtons and Barred Rocks, your more normal the stuff you can find at Tractor Supply kind of breeds. Well, those chickens started laying at 4 months old, and like seriously by like June they started laying. Yeah, they're done laying. The daylight has dropped, and so is their egg production. We're not getting a single egg out of that flock. Maybe one a day, but it's frustrating. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are going to be in eggs over the winter.
What breed did you do the year before that were laying a lot of eggs for you?
I want to say, okay. We had gotten 2 years ago, we'd gotten Murray's like Easter egg basket, where it's got copper morans and basically every color egg you can imagine. We got those chickens, and then we actually hatched out the next year. We hatched out just a bunch of mutts, and that was the flock that we had last year, and we hatched them in, I don't know, March, something like that. February. It was pretty early. And they, by fall they started laying, and we had eggs all winter. Well, those hens are now in our coop. We kind of cycle our chickens out every, 2 years. And so, I don't know, just a whole bunch of mutts. But they started, their moms were all the Easter egg basket chickens. We
did the Red Stars from McMurray Hatchery. I'm impressed with them so far. They're kind of, they're just like a reddish colored chicken, so they're kind of boring. But I'm like, I think I'm gonna get more next year, because it's nice having. I'll see how they do all winter, but it's nice having like a good laying hen. Like the eggs are nice, good size right now. I mean, they're on the smaller side, but not too small. Nice brown eggs, and the shells are nice and hard. So I'm like, yeah, we'll get some more next summer, and just kind of make sure we have a good flock going. I'd say that's all for my week. What were you up to this week there, Jason?
Let's see. So I went to the dump, and I went to Lowe's. No.
Normal stuff.
I know. Let's see. I took out the trash. So we had our last turkey pickup this week from a lady who picked up her turkey. She bought it like a couple weeks ago, and I was holding it on for her. And I think I've said this before. You can kind of tell when people watch you or watch us because as soon as they get out of their car, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here," kind of thing, which is cool. But so when they don't kind of say that, then you think like, okay, I wonder how they found out about us. Like, I wonder if they watch. And so I always try to remember to ask people like, oh, how'd you hear about us? And so she didn't say she watches our channel or nothing. She just said she found us on some farm website that like she looked up where to buy local turkey. And I
cool.
guess our website was on there, I guess, and so that's pretty neat. I mean, I don't know. I don't know of this website, but apparently we're out there
That's
somewhere.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, I thought. So yeah, she bought a 23 pounder. Like that was one of the bigger turkeys she bought, and that was the last one.
Cool. So is she local-ish? Did she say like what area she was from, or?
She was actually in Asheville.
Okay, so local-ish.
Yeah. So
That's
she was
cool.
fairly, yeah, kind of. But yeah, that was pretty neat. What else? Well, I'm still working on my end wall. I think last Monday I was like, I just started my end wall of my high tunnel, and I'm still working on it. I keep changing things up, things pop up, and I'm like, oh, I got to stop working on it. And before I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do a single door, and then it changed to a double door, and then today I was almost ready to make the door, and I was like, it would be kind of cool if I made a sliding door.
And this is how projects take forever, is stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm way overthinking it, and I actually could have got a kit. Farmer's Friend has a kit that they were just gonna send me, and if I had a kit, that would have already been done. But I was like, no, I'll just build it, right?
I got this.
Yeah, I want to make more work for myself. I'll build it. So as of right now, it's going to be a sliding door. I haven't built it yet, but we'll see how that goes. And that might change tomorrow. I don't know.
Are you guys growing like over the winter in that greenhouse?
There's some things growing in there. There's some like leafy green stuff. But actually, we started growing in there, and as soon as it popped up, a lot of the bugs just demolished everything. This was, before fall, just before fall, we planted. So, but still, things are still kind of growing. But for the most part, not much. I really just want to get this wall in so that way I could like finish this project, because I think I started this project at the end of last winter. So
Yeah, you had to wait until it got warm enough to stretch the plastic.
yes, yep, that's right. I forget what month that was, but yeah. And then running water lines and all that stuff. So it's like I just want to move on and just finish that end wall. So almost done. And then, also interrupting me was butchering a pig. We butchered our last cooney, our last of the 4 cooney pigs, and that one we just did us 3, and I want to say that's one of the few times that might have been the only time. No, I don't know. Maybe one of the few times that it was just us 3. Usually it's somebody else or family here, or like my father-in-law's here, which is great. It's awesome, like having people over and just having a big butcher party. But also it was kind of neat just to do it us 3. Just because it's a little more relaxed, I guess. It's just like we're just got all day to butcher a pig, and let's just do it. So it was great. It went pretty good, and then we eviscerated it or gutted it, and then the next day we pieced it out, and we pretty much we kind of just let our daughter do it. She wanted to do it. I mean, we're all there doing it, but for the most part, she was into it, and so we should just kind of like, oh, all right, she really wanted to. Hey, let me do it. Let me cut that, or let me saw that, and she wanted to do it. So we're just like, all right. So I mean, she pretty much pieced out that whole pig, I would say, for the most part, which was pretty great to see.
Did she do the evisceration?
Did she do that? No. She scalded, but not like taking the guts out. I did that part. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Reason I ask is, I think Lorraine had sent Meg a picture of you guys doing the pig, and the boys were like, "Is Penelope gutting the pig?" Because I guess they felt she was one-upping them. But
yeah,
Corbin actually helped. He's been after me. He wants to, learn how to gut a pig, and so the one we did on Monday that I ended up incinerating, he did that whole pig himself. So kind of a bummer that it got incinerated, but yeah. So they were all wondering if she had done that part.
Oh no, she took out the ham because she wanted to cure a ham. So she has one ham that's her ham. So she plans on hanging that in the kitchen, and so it was pretty neat. I mean, it's just a different way of. Our kids are growing up way different than how we grew up, and it's just crazy to see that or be a part of that, Because I'm like, I remember, when the McRib they'd announced the McRib was back at McDonald's, and I'd be like, oh man, we got it. The whole family was like, we got to go to McDonald's. The McRib is back. It's just kind of funny.
I've never had a McRib.
Oh man, you were missing out. You were missing out.
I've never had one. They've always looked way too fake.
It was good. It was really, it was really good. I don't know what it was. It was like formed meat. But at the time, we loved it.
Someone once told me one time that the McRib was actually rat meat, and that stuck with me, and so I never wanted to try a McRib. It stuck with me. Still to this day, the McRib will come back and it'll be like, rat meat sandwich. No, thank you.
It's like a limited time, so that would kind of get you the marketing there. You see the big billboard on the way to school, and the McRib is back, and they're like, all right, that's what we're having tonight. Yeah, the good old days. The good old days of not questioning your food.
Right. Not thinking twice about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They sell it. It must be good for you. I mean, it's in the store, right?
I don't know. Maybe. So that went well. But it is, after you butcher animals and you've had them for so long, it feels weird the next morning,
Yes, it does.
Even the meat chickens, it feels weird. But we had these coonies for 20 months. I mean,
they almost become like a pet. You have them for that long. You feed them twice a day, every day for, what'd you say, 20 months?
Right. Yeah. Every day. And so all of a sudden they're not there anymore. So it is a little bit like something's off. In a way, it's kind of nice too, but yeah, it's just kind of weird.
How many do you have left that were born this year?
We have 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're doing good. So we'll butcher those guys this time next year.
Yep.
And hopefully I have more piglets. I'm trying to think what else I have here. Yeah, like Ben said, we went to the Renaissance Fair, and Penelope has the medieval bug also.
I wonder why.
I don't know if she was influenced.
No, my boys wouldn't do such a thing.
I'm telling you, I you just got to watch Lord of the Rings, Al, and next thing you know.
Speaking of, we haven't seen those movies yet, but we went and saw another movie this weekend.
Oh, you did?
We went and saw the red one with the Rock. It's a Christmas movie.
Oh no.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. So we watched it, and they have like a demon possessed goat in there. That is Santa's half brother or something like that, and he's like a demon, kind of like hates Santa or hates Christmas and stuff. But he's called a Krampus or something like that.
Hmm.
So we remember seeing something last year about Grampuses. So in Germany, and that's supposedly where this guy was located at the time. In Germany, they have a ritual. It's like the satanic side of Christmas, and they call it a Grampus. It's like a goat-looking demon, and the naughty kids get like beaten by this thing at Christmas. They don't have like a naughty list over in Germany. They have this goat demon thing. So it's kind of weird to have it, but I don't know. Kind of made me think of like Lord of the Rings and all the different stuff that you'd probably see on that.
Man, that's Krampus. Krampus is like
Yes.
the thing of nightmares.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was in this Christmas movie. And then the Christmas Witch, I think it is. It was a different kind of. It was good, but it was like a different kind of twist to a Christmas movie. It was not for like little kids, but
Okay.
I mean, I used to like watching The Rock when he was a wrestler back when I was a kid, but I can't stand Dwayne The Rock Johnson in Hollywood. I can't get over it. It's like, no, like anytime he does anything, I just think of big time wrestling. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So you've been going to the movies every weekend.
last weekend we watched one at the house.
Oh,
This
okay.
weekend we went, yeah. So it was like every other weekend, right? For 2 weeks or 3 weeks now we've gone. But
Oh,
I
nice.
don't know if there'll be anything else out.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Trying to just switch it up, do some different stuff every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so I went to the Renaissance Fair, and Renaissance Fair is fun. This time it was like I felt like it was super crowded than last time.
Had a different vibe this time. Like last year, it was cool. This year, super crowded and different vibe. Didn't feel very kid friendly, I'll say that.
Yeah,
Very family friendly. Really
right.
interesting.
To me, it seemed like a lot of college kids over there. I mean, they were serving alcohol there,
Yep.
like for the event. So it was just like, yeah, you could tell. It was like, seems like a bunch of college kids are here for some reason. But I don't know, it was cool. It was fun. They had like jousting there, which is fun to watch. I was like, they need to bring jousting back in sports.
Man, if we settled arguments with a joust or a duel or something like that, people would be a lot more polite.
Yeah. I know. Joust. Yeah. So that was cool. We all dressed up too. Yeah, everyone dressed up. I was a peasant. And yeah, Penelope and Lorraine made their clothes. They sold their own clothes. Actually, she sewed part of my clothes too. But yeah, it was fun.
You were a stylish peasant compared to me. I looked more like a normal
Was
peasant.
I was J. Crew medieval peasant.
You guys got like any pictures to show like what you wore?
No, we forgot to take a picture together with everybody all done up.
A group
Bummer.
picture, yeah. So shout out to Mike Farm Fit, Mike Dixon and his family were there too.
Yeah, shout out to Mike. It was good seeing Mike. I can't believe how big his kids have gotten. It seems like every time I see them, they're a foot taller.
Yeah, that was good. That finished off the weekend though. But yeah, I think that was about it. We have, well, yeah, I hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. And on the next podcast, I'm sure we'll talk about what we had for Thanksgiving.
Probably will.
And yeah, guys, it was good talking with you guys. And thank you guys for listening and watching this podcast. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks everybody. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Later, everybody.